one who wins here will be top 4 in the losers bracket, and this is a German against another German, and I, the commentator, am German too, so you got 3 Germans here. Alright, looking at COSINE's team, some volt turn action going on. Raikou with the volt switch, Landorus with the U-turn, then the Hooper as the wall breaker, Charizard probably, I don't know, probably Charizard X, because Raikou is a special attacker, Starmie is a special attacker too, so so this might be Charizard X. We'll see. And looking at XRAY's team, a little more defensive. Yeah, that's a balanced team with Hippowdon and Slowbro. I'm a little surprised that I see a Bisharp, and also that is probably offensive Garchomp, Mega Altaria, and a Thundurus. Maybe a Nasty Plot one, just to break defensive COSINE teams, because if you look at COSINE teams, they're something like Heatran, Ferrothorn, Hippowdon and such. So if Thundurus gets up a Nasty Plot, then it just sweeps right through them. But we'll see. So Hooper is a huge threat to XRAY's team. What he can do is switch in Bisharp on a Hyperspace Fury or Dark Pulse, for example, and then Pursuit. If he is a Pursuit variant, it might be, but I don't think so. So let's see. He leads with Charizard, and oftentimes people lead with Charizards when they are Charizard Y. We'll see. So if this is a physical Hooper, maybe Bandit, maybe Life Orb, then this might be Charizard Y, but you wouldn't run it without a Pursuit Trigger, right? So I think that's Charizard X. So he kinda has to switch out here into Landorus, I think. Get up the rocks, because it doesn't look like XRAY has... No, XRAY doesn't have hazard removal. So switching into Landorus on the Garchomp, getting up rocks would be great, because he has a Thundurus and also an Altaria, which both take 25% if they are switching in. So this might also be an offensive Garchomp, because he has a Hippowdon in the back, and he might have to switch. If he goes Lando here, Garchomp might go for Draco, Life Orb, Draco Meteor. That's a set with max special attack, and he goes into Landorus. Let's see the Draco. Oh, he goes for Swords. Okay, he is the offensive variant, but with Swords Dance, that means that he's not the special variant. Special variant wouldn't make much sense, because you have to break stuff, especially defensive stuff like Hippo, for example, or Altaria sets up on Hippo, but Hippo can Whirlwind. So yeah, it kind of makes sense, because I mean Altaria is a physical attacker too. So the Dragon Claw will do a chunk. Let's see if this is Charizard X. Okay. Or this is just Adamant. I don't know the cards in my head. He's Life Orb? Yeah, he's Life Orb. This might also be defensive Landorus. I don't know. I'll calculate later. So the rocks are up. That means that Thundurus and Altaria are hit by these. And now COSINE has no safe switch in. That means he can go Ferrothorn here. Okay, he goes for Dragon Claw, loses the Landorus. I think that's okay, because it gets walled by Slowbro. It gets hit by Thundurus 4 times effectively. It is weak to Bisharp, because if you switch it in on Bisharp, it gets a boost. So you have to be careful bringing it in. So now Raikou comes in. Of course, Hippowdon. So let's see his Toxic here. No, he goes for HP Ice. Maybe we'll see the Toxic now, because if I'd be XRAY, I'd go for the rocks. But Starmie is kind of a... I mean, he cannot switch... COSINE cannot switch in Starmie freely here, because the opponent, XRAY, has a Bisharp. But he does the switch, goes into Starmie, and I don't know if this is Pursuit Bisharp. I don't think so, because Altaria sets up on weakened Latis. So you don't have to trap them, because actually set up on them. And he asks him if he is pursued here. Maybe he is, but I don't think so. I think he is a sword stance variant to set up on bulky stuff and or sweep offensive teams with Sucker Punch. So I don't think he has pursued. He goes for Scald. Burns the Bishop, that's huge. That's huge. That would be a kill here. He's Life Orb. Cosine gets the burn here. Knockoff does 82 nonetheless. And this might be, yeah, I think this is offensive. Of course offensive, but adamant Life Orb, because it did so much damage. Now Ferrothorn can come in actually, because Bisharp cannot survive all the hits. And also Ferrothorn is kind of a problem for X-Ray now, because the only thing that really breaks it is Guard Jump. Okay, he switches in Charizard on the knockoff, which is an okay play. Guard Jump is at 81%, that means it is at 69 when it switches in on rocks. We might see a Dragon Dance here. Now the Hippo is at... Hippo gets 2-hit KO'd by Charizard, but it gets 2-hit KO'd by Flare Blitz, so it's kind of a problem. Let's see. I really think that this is Charizard X, because Cosine has no +2 Tripper. And if he goes for Dragon Dance here, X-Ray has still his Thunderous in the back. Okay, this is Charizard X. Goes for another knockoff. Okay, that's a good play, because now Charizard is pretty low but stays non-mega, and maybe he hopes that he doesn't want to get hit by Garchomp's Earthquake and Hippowdon's Earthquake, so staying in non-mega form is better. And also Altaria cannot hit you super effectively if it is the Earthquake return set. Return becomes a fairy attack, and that is ineffective. That is not super effective on Charizard, on normal Charizard, but super effective on... Oh no, it is not super effective on Charizard X, but neutrally. But on neutral Charizard it is not super effective. So might see a roost here. This might very well be a special Altaria, because he's so weak to Ferrothorn. This has to be some kind of lure. If he Mega Evolves here and goes for Hyper Voice, I'm not surprised, because we might see a kill from around 60-70%, because Charizard X per def is around 206, I think, non-invested, or 205, I don't remember correctly. So yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised if we would see a special Altaria here with Hyper Voice, Fire Blast, and Earthquake, because Thunderous kind of breaks. Nasty Plot Thunderous kind of breaks Ferrothorn too and sets up on it. But I don't know. And also Garchomp breaks Ferrothorn pretty reliably. And also Bisharp. But we'll see. We will see. Of course the Cosine forces the Mega here, just to get the bulk. Because if he stays in neutral form, he's weak to Dragon. If he Mega Evolves, he's immune to Dragon. Of course, the switch into Ferrothorn. Let's see if this is a special. Okay, it is also a physical variant. So if X-Ray is Heat, he goes for Fire Blast here, but I don't think he has it. So the Gyro Ball is pretty obvious, and can switch into Slowbro here. I mean, pivot into Slowbro, and then maybe go into Garchomp. Oh, he goes directly into Garchomp, which is kind of a good play, because now he can weaken this thing with an Earthquake, which will do around 50 to 60% with a Life Orb, because Garchomp is pretty powerful. He cannot set up though, and Ferrothorn can go for Leech Seed, leaving it at 60. So yeah. Does he have an EQ switch in though? It's Charizard. Okay, he makes a risky play. Goes into Charizard. Okay, maybe that was to scout. Very good play. Usually they're on Earthquake, Sword Stance, Dragon Claw, and then Fire Fang. So yeah, I wouldn't have expected a... Yeah, Fire Fang is kind of... Yeah, but was a pretty good play, switching in Charizard on that. So now, Garchomp is faster, he sacks the Charizard. Why? Well, because the opponent has Hippowdon, an Altaria, and a Slowbro. And all these Pokemon check Charizard X, so it wouldn't do much anyway in this battle. So Scald kills here. X-Ray might keep this... I don't know. He can just sack this and go into Slowbro maybe. No, that would make sense because he has an Hooper. That might be a special Hooper too. I'm not sure. We'll see. He switches an Altaria. Okay, that means that risking the burn. That means that he's probably mono attacking return with Heal Bell, Roost, Dragon Dance return. And we'll see the Roost here from X-Ray. And now he can sack the Garchomp on the Ferrothorn to bring in Thundurus. Go for the Nasty Plot actually. But then still Raikou is a problem. But then again, Altaria switches in on... Altaria sets up on Raikou. If it is not the Calm Mind, no, it cannot win against Altaria. If Altaria is at +1, it kills. Okay, so X-Ray sacks Garchomp here because it cannot stay on Ferrothorn. Okay, that doesn't matter. I mean, it would have been nice if he would have missed, but you know, you cannot rely on that. Okay, probably goes into Thundurus here to bait the Raikou. Then he can bring in Hippowdon again. Okay, he goes into Thundurus. Yeah, that's probably Nasty Plot. Or he might just go for the Focus Blast here, just to weaken the Raikou. Because Ferrothorn cannot touch Thundurus. Gyro Ball is resisted, Power Whip is resisted, Leech Seed isn't really reliable on Thundurus. So if I were Cosine... Okay, there's a double in Hippowdon. Expecting the Raikou. Good. Okay. This might be AV Raikou, but I'm not sure. The damage on Hippowdon reveals that he's not Specs, so this might just be Calm Mind. We don't see leftovers. So that might be Zap Plate or Sub Calm Mind or just Assault Vest. It isn't revealed now. So rocks are up for both, I think. Are rocks up on Cosine? No. Okay, he is free to go for the rocks here. Oh, no rocks? Ah, yeah. If he goes for rocks, then Starmie comes in and then... Okay, he goes for the rocks again here. Now, Cosine gets up his hazards just to weaken the Slowbro, Ferro, Altaria core as much as possible. As you see, Slowbro comes in at full and is at 63%. That are Cosine's teams. Cosine often uses Stealth Rock and Spikes, get them up really fast, and after that force switches to make the opponent, to whittle the opponent down. Or he goes into Hooper. Of course, Slowbro has to switch out if he wants to sack it. Yeah, I think Slowbro sack, he loses to Hooper actually. at this point. Altaria dies to Gang Shot. If he has something like Grass Knot. It is a substitute Hooper. So if we see a nasty plot here. No, he has to attack, otherwise Altaria sets up. But then again, okay, he hits the Gang Shot, nice. Now he has to get rid of this substitute first. Otherwise he cannot kill it. So Gang Shot killing the Altaria. Is this a physical one? This might very well have Grass Knot or Energy Ball or something like that. Could be a mixed variant because it destroys. Yeah, I think it has something like a grass move. It has to, because there's a Charizard on the team. Charizard needs a power on Slowbro and such gone. Oh, it is actually Focus Punch. Gets the crit. I didn't expect that at all. Focus. We just see a dot there. Wow, Focus Punch. I think it has 150 base power. And you actually Focus Punch on... That's funny. Focus Punch on the switch into Bishop or something. Hyperspace Fury here, and that's a GG. Jolly Altaria. And the tie, the crit. Yeah, okay, that means that this is Jolly Altaria. Well, lost the speed tie, and that was game 1. Pretty interesting. Very interesting set there with Focus Punch, and I really enjoyed it. So let's move on to the next game. So we see a Sableye team here. And on X-Ray's part, we see Mega DNC team against some Volt turning Pokemon, 2 of them, with Jirachi, which is probably Scarf, and Lando, and either Jirachi Scarf or defensive. We'll see. Or it might be... So lead Bisharp. Against the Slowking. Slowking dies to knockoff. I'm pretty sure. Data Slowking. Yeah, Slowking's defenses are not very high. I think it should die. If this is live for Bishop. If it's Lum or something else, I'm not sure. We'll see. I think it dies. Okay. What's his switch in? What's Cosine switch in? If it's a Scarf Tar... Okay, he goes into Sableye on the knockoff. X-Ray gets a crit. Because Cosine got 2 crits in the last match. And Iron Head... Oh, that crit sucks. Because now Iron Head kills. Knock off the 71. Knock off the 71. That means that a 100 base move does 50. And an 80 base move does less than 50. And if Sableye goes for the burn here, yeah, he can survive the next Iron Head. But if he gets flinched though, yeah, he survived the next non-crit Iron Head, which will do 25% with the burn. And then he'll be at 4%, and then after that, Sableye can go for the Prankster recover if he wants to. And the Willow's pretty much for free, but he can bring in the Latios. And okay, this is Mega Sableye. Goes for the Roost. Recover, I mean. Okay. Maybe X-Ray predicted the Tita to come in on the Iron Head. Or COSINE predicted the Latios to come in. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, gets a crit knockoff again. That's a crit Bishop. Wow, this Bichon can get up rocks here. And as you see, COSINE's teams always have hazard stacking, and they lose to Charizard Y a little bit, pretty weak Charizard Y. Okay. Life Orb Adamant knockoff gets the rocks up, but Latios at defog anyway, pretty sure. Let's see. I don't see COSINE winning here. Like if he gets rid of Ferrothorn for the Manaphy, then Manaphy just wins. Or even DNC. Okay, goes into Gliscor. Now X-Ray can go into his own Landorus. But if Gliscor SDs, that would be problematic. This Bishop is pretty good. Just to get a huge hit off on Ferrothorn and also on Slowking. But if Bishop knocks off here, Gliscor loses his Poison Orb. So this Gliscor might... I don't think Protect is... Not many people run Protect, so I'd be surprised if I see it here. So he switches out into Landorus here just probably to get up his rocks or to force in the Sableye. Okay, Gliscor goes for this Source Dance, and Landorus gets up the rocks. We'll see if this is Scarf. No, this is probably not Scarf. This is defensive because Facade did so little. Facade is a 120 base move multiplied by times 1.5. That makes it a 180 base move on the defensive Landorus. So yeah, 32%. That is defensive Landorus with Rocky Helmet with Source Sense too. And Lando gets KO'd. Now Manaphy comes in. Pretty much is forced to come in, because that's the only Pokemon that hits it super effectively. And now you can just go for Scald, because Facade will do too much. I don't think a Scald kills here because of the bulk. Gliscors, they are played specially defensive. You wouldn't run non-psychic versus me, would you? Taylor, Rain Dance, Psychic. Yeah, COSINE sometimes plays Mega Venusaur, so let's see a Taylor here. Yep. And the Energy Ball. Okay, that's a huge threat to COSINE's team. And pretty much going for Energy Ball here if he has it. If not, he can Taylor up again, go for the Scald, which will probably do 50% because Slowking is pretty bulky on the specially defensive side. They say I should keep asking. Okay, we'll see the Energy Ball here. Pretty sure. Yep, and that doesn't KO. Wow, Slowking with Dragon Tail. That's cool. That's a cool set. Because the team is kind of weak to it. Slowking lives a +2 Energy Ball and can Dragon Tail it out, which is cool. And now Dancy Gale goes for the Moonblast here on the Ferrothorn. Doesn't do much at all. All in all, that's somewhat like 50%. 15. And DNZ cannot stay in because of the Gyro Ball. So yeah, X-Ray is kind of a problem now. I mean, he can protect the first turn if he has it. Did he go for protect the first turn? When he brought it in? let's see. Knock off, recover Iron Head. Oh, it's already mega buffed. Okay. He didn't show Protect, but he might have it now. He might go for it. And Ferrothorn kinda has to stay in. Is forced to Gyro Ball. But if he's forced to Gyro Ball, that means that Manaphy can come in. Goes into Gliscor. Okay. That's HP Fire. He was probably scouting for it. But on an offensive team like this, that kinda struggles with Ferrothorn, you might want to see HP Fire. You might have to expect HP Fire on it. So this DNC is a huge threat to COSINE's team now because it has HP Fire, and Ferrothorn might be KO'd by when it is at 60%, because Gardevoir does, Jolly Gardevoir does like 70, 65, I'm not quite sure. So the NCs might do pretty much the same. So he switched in Latios on the Roost. So does this Latios have Ice Beam? Or what is he trying to do? Okay, he switches in Titar. And X-Ray goes for Draco. Might survive the pursuit here. And Draco does around 20, more than 30, depending on the roll. And yeah, if COSINE goes for pursuit here. Okay, that didn't kill. And Latios goes for another Draco, takes out the Tyranitar, but Latios goes down with him. That's probably for Slowking. Because Slowking can take Dracos. Because it's pretty bulky on the special defensive side. So now, what's he switching in? Tight spot for COSINE. Because Manaphy can set up on anything except for Heatran. Except for Ferrothorn. And Slowking dies to Energy Ball. It was at, let's see the percentage. It was 18%. That means if he gets 33 with the Regenerator back, that means that he'll be at 52 with the rocks at 39. And now Energy Ball at +3 did 82. And now you have to divide it by 2.5. That's not a kill. Slowking can barely hang on. So yeah, I think he has to go for the Energy Ball here, because he's going to get Dragon Tail out anyway. COSINE has to Dragon Tail out here, otherwise he's in a very bad spot. Because then, yeah, Energy Ball, he lives as we expected, and he's sent back into Bisharp. That's okay, because Gliscor can wall it. I mean, Earthquake should kill at this range. Gliscor has like 220 attack on a 100 base move. Is pretty good. So the Earthquake should kill here. And X-Ray doesn't really have a... I mean, he doesn't want to switch into Manaphy. He just needs this Gliscor weakened. And also he needs the Ferrothorn weakened. Ferrothorn will come in at 67 or 66. That might be HP Fire range. And Sableye dies to Moonblast. And the only thing he needs to have weakened is this Gliscor. So he goes for the Sucker Punch on the Roost. Expecting the Earthquake. But Gliscor is faster than Bisharp. Okay, he goes for the Earthquake now. I am sure that Gliscor lives a Moose Blast. That's why he goes into Manaphy. Also, Gliscor lives a Diamond Storm from Diancie. And now Ferrothorn has to switch into Ferrothorn. The switch into Diancie now is pretty much forced to go into Jirachi because the Manaphy is needed to break the Gliscor. Gliscor will come in at 60 something %, which can still wall the Diancie, but I don't see Cosine winning here. Unless he makes some plays, let's see. Can go for Leech Seed at this point on the Jirachi switch. Can go for Power Whip too. Let's see. The options are... cannot switch. You can switch into Sax Sableye. No, he goes for Power Whip. Okay, switches in Jirachi. Now Ferrothorn is free to go for Leech Seed. Or even predict the Diancie with the Gyro Ball. But he goes into Sableye. Oh, goes for Healing Wish. Good, nice play. I like that a lot. And now he heals back his Manaphy. Gets up a Tail Glow. And Ice Beam does 70, 30, 33. If he gets up 2 Tail Glows here. Yeah, he gets up 2 Tail Glows here and it's over. That's a good game. Oh, he goes into he goes into Ferrothorn first. Goes for Tail Glow. Still not enough though. Because Ice Beam does 30. 34. No, a little more. But Power Whip cannot KO Manaphy because it is pretty bulky. Let's see if he has No, if he had HP Fire, he would have gone for it already. But pretty much forced to go for the Ice Beam here. Oh, gets the crit. I mean, that didn't matter anyway because Manaphy would have swept anyway. Okay, that's a GG. And we are going to go to see game 3. Because first one was won by Cosine, second one by XRAY, and now we'll see game 3. So, see you later.